Hey guys, so I'm standing right inside the front door. The inspector got started a little bit ago. He had already done the outside when I got here. He had an earlier appointment canceled. So he got here early and went and did the exterior. Said everything was great on the exterior, and that means he probably found a couple little things. But and I'm just taking pictures. I'm just going to walk through and take a couple videos of pretty much everything. Anyway, I'm sure he found a couple little things. It's inevitable, but he didn't find any significant issues on the exterior, so that's always a good thing. And he's out in the garage right now, uh, looking at the electrical panel, hot water, things like that. Um, and like I say, I there's an awful lot to a house that you don't see, even if you have a 10 or 15-minute video. So I'm just going to walk around and run my mouth and take videos. So this thing over here is the control for your fireplace. So the on, it's kind of weird. I was messing with it a minute ago. The off is down here, and then I think this on here and the high low is for the fan. It's kind of a weird switch. But anyway, the top button seems to turn it on. The middle button seems to turn it off. Okay, come on, go off. There we go. So it takes a second. It's got to burn the gas that's backed up in the line out. So um, anyhow, and the way, so I don't remember if I mentioned this when we first looked, but this thing down here is what's called the Smurf tube, and so he's got all of his electronics running through that tube, or at least for his TV and sound, running through that tube, and that tube comes back out behind the TV. Kind of nice to hide your wires that way. And I don't know why they call it a Smurf tube, but anyhow. And guys, I'm gonna walk outside, I think, real quick. And the reason I wanted to walk outside, let me see if there's any cameras out here with recording devices. I don't see any, but we'll take a picture of the back of the house anyway. Everything is really, really clean out here, and well taken care of. But the reason I walked outside is the fence. When we initially looked at the place, I had made a comment in the video about don't let me forget about the fence, and of course I forgot about it. If I was the seller, I probably wouldn't finish building that fence because we didn't put it in the contract. I'm going to call the other agent after the inspection this evening and try to kind of finagle my way into getting them to finishing that fence, but I don't know how much luck I'm going to have. And of course, they're not obligated to do it because we did not put it in the contract. Obviously, they were preparing to do it, but we'll see what happens. But I needed to make you aware of that. So, anyhow. But it is a nice, clean backyard. I hope I didn't just step in dog poop because I'm in my socks. Yes, I did. Oh, my. That's what they call a full-service realtor. So, anyway, we won't tell anybody about that. And I didn't get it bad. I just got a little tiny bit, I think. And I'm not going to look. I'll tell my wife before I take my socks off at home. So the inspector's running the dishwasher. And what he'll do is check it for proper drainage, so on and so forth. Check the overflow device, all that kind of stuff. So, and of course he'll do all this as well. He'll go underneath all the sinks, check all of the electrical outlets and stuff. So. And I know we saw this before, but we might as well see it again. And this is my wife, Gail. I think you guys have met before. And this is Keith, the inspector.
Hello.
And he's getting ready to look at the hot water here. Electrical panel look good, or did you get to it yet?
Yeah.
You have to explain to them about the hot water heater. I like those.
Yeah.
Those are
You want me to
instant.
explain it? So with the tankless water heater, you basically don't have to worry about being the last guy in the shower. It makes the hot water as you need it. The biggest thing would be once a year, I would recommend that you have someone come out and do maintenance on it. If you don't do that, it can void the warranty, but also over time, it's going to build up mineral deposits. It won't work as efficiently. To have that done, it's not terribly pricey. You just call a plumber, and they would
How,
take care
how
of it for
often you gotta do that?
you. Should be once a year.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Everything in this business is once a year.
Yeah, this in your furnace.
However, Keith brings that up. I'll add a caveat to that Yelm is known for having hard water. Even though it's city water, they don't do a very good job of softening it. It's good tasting water, but there's a lot of minerals in it. So, anyway. So I'm going to keep walking through here, guys, and I'll probably end this video here on the first floor and then do a separate one going upstairs, just because they get so big, and YouTube gets wonky with them after they get to a certain size. So I'm just really not finding any issues with this house. These folks have lived in it very, very easy. So, and I don't know if these, I mean, obviously from the Buddhist stuff down there, I think these guys are Cambodian. I'm not sure. My son is married to a Cambodian girl, and there's a Buddhist temple right on the edge of Yelm that they attend, and I imagine these guys may attend it as well. But big Cambodian community around here, and my daughter-in-law, kind of an interesting story. She was a boat person back in the 1980s. I don't know if you've ever heard of Pol Pot. But her family basically got on a freaking raft and headed out into the South China Sea along with 1,000 other people. The Australian Navy picked them up. She was like 1 or 2 years old at the time. The Australian Navy picked them up, took them to Australia, and then they managed to immigrate to the States, and have done very well for themselves. Her extended family is here. And like I said, there's a pretty good sized Cambodian community in the area. And there's a temple here in Yelm, right on the edge of Yelm, that my daughter-in-law and her family attend. They also attend a Christian church, which is kind of interesting. They had 2 separate weddings. So they were married in an Episcopal church. We grew up in a Baptist church, but they were married in an Episcopal church that she attended. And that church, I think, kind of sponsored her family when they came from Cambodia. And then they had a Buddhist wedding, which was quite interesting. That was a 3-day long affair. And myself and the rest of my family, my other son and stuff, were kind of drawing straws to figure out when we were going to show up and do our thing at this wedding. It was interesting. Like I say, it went on for 3 days. I felt sorry for my kid. But that's my Cambodian story. The Cambodian community, though, is great. They're just really, really neat people. And their sense of community is almost like what you might have expected in this country 100 years ago. It's neat. So I'm done on that tangent. See if I can think of something else. So I went out in the yard, guys, in my socks. And I think I found the one pile of dog poop that was out there.
Did you step on it?
Yep.
Huh?
Yes.
Is it in your shoe?
I got it cleaned off. Oh, no, it's in my sock. That sure does look like there might be somebody under there. Maybe not. You never know. I've run across some pretty interesting stuff in houses. Finding somebody hiding I've found people hiding in closets before. Anyway. So yeah, this is a really clean house. I see one little thing we got here in the bathroom, and this is typical kind of in the middle of a house like this. I don't know if you can see that crack up there. And what that's called is truss lift. So the bottom cord of the truss flexes a little bit. It's wood, you know, wood, God made wood. And so it expands, contracts, and flexes a little bit. And that's what that crack up there is. It's a very common cosmetic issue. And it happens, and you come back and touch it up and it'll come back again. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this video here, I think.